That's why I made the remark that the call is coming from inside the House. Well, I was pointing out something that I don't think the Democratic majority particularly cared for, which is that over the course of 4 months of budget hearings, including with the Commissioner of the Department of Human Services as well as the Department of Health, we learned two very important facts. Number one, the amount that the federal government will be sending to the state of New Jersey in this new fiscal year for Medicaid is actually increasing. Yes, you heard me right. The federal government is increasing the amount it is sending to New Jersey for Medicaid to the tune of $1.01 billion. What is happening at the same time? The state of New Jersey is cutting Medicaid and healthcare programming by approximately $266 million. So that's why I made the remark that the call is coming from inside the House. It's the state of New Jersey that is not only cutting Medicaid and associated healthcare programming by $266 million, but doing a really poor job when you compare New Jersey to other states in re-enrolling eligible participants.
Yeah, I mean, it's particularly irritating since the Democrats went on, forever, on months, talking about how mean Donald Trump was, to the state of New Jersey, and we're going to go into oblivion because of the cuts that Trump is imposing, on the state of New Jersey. And it was really just the opposite. And it was really New Jersey that was the one doing the cutting.
My takeaway and the point I'm making is that it's increasing by $1 billion from the federal government, while it's decreasing within the state of New Jersey's budget.
We had Audrey Lane, whom we greatly respect, even before we had her on our show a couple weeks ago. But her group pointed out that in addition to all this, there's a 4.1 error rate in the management of the Medicaid funds, which is a pretty substantial error rate. And that's going to cost us, if it's not fixed by, I think, October 2029, another $155 million. I mean, it seems like we're digging ourselves into financial holes here. I don't know what you know about that, but the error rate is also, for our management, is not at a good place. How can they begin to blame well, we do know how they begin to blame the federal government. Blame Trump is always the answer, it seems, at the heyday of it all.
Audrey's got it right that New Jersey's error rate, which, by the way, is the case in numerous states around the country, and this is something that clearly the federal government is paying attention to. Finally, for the first time perhaps ever, that error rate is simply unacceptable. Those are wasted taxpayer dollars. We need to eliminate, greatly reduce the error rate, get it down to zero, so that the dollars that are going to people who actually need Medicaid, who rely on it for very specific services, are getting it. Any waste, fraud, and abuse in the system is hurting the people who need it more than anyone else, as well as the taxpayers, of course. But you raise an important point, and what I want to add to it, Constance, is that another thing that came out of these budget hearings, specifically with the Department of Human Services, is that for those individuals who are legitimately on Medicaid, who belong on Medicaid, who meet the requirements, who should be on it and should be re-enrolled, the state of New Jersey automatically re-enrolls fewer than 20% of those eligible Medicaid recipients. Also, I'm going to give you a couple more facts so you have these. New Jersey terminates Medicaid enrollees for procedural or paperwork reasons 10% higher than the national average. In fact, the state processes fewer than 27% of Medicaid applications within the 45-day deadline, which is actually required by federal law. So the Sherrill administration has been very critical of federal changes to Medicaid. And they keep warning New Jerseyans that there's going to be these cuts to Medicaid, and thousands of New Jerseyans are going to be kicked off of Medicaid on accounts of onerous paperwork requirements. In fact, once again, the call is coming from inside the House. It's the state of New Jersey that's failing these families, these individuals who belong on Medicaid, but are not being re-enrolled or properly enrolled in the first place.